Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor have both been suspended from the UFC. Also, Khabib is threatening to leave the UFC and break his contract. Let's get into it.
You are now entering the real side. Get ready for real news, sports, and entertainment. Powered by RealNSE.com.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Sneeko from RealNSE.com. And I want to do a impromptu live stream here. As I'm driving home here, there's a little bit of traffic, just like I always do, to talk about some sports news. So just news broke just a little while ago that Khabib and Conor are both suspended after the Las Vegas Athletic Commission reviewed the footage and everything. They just handed down a 10-day suspension. That's kind of stupid, but a 10-day suspension for both fighters after their antics in the UFC 229 aftermath, the brawl. And I did an article on this on RealNSE.com. But you know, this comes 6 days, 5-6 days after. Yeah, 5 days actually. Today's Thursday. 5 days after the fight. After, I guess, more footage was released. Initially, it looked like Conor didn't do anything to anybody. But then there was another angle that kind of surfaced shortly after, and it showed Conor actually throwing the punch against. I believe it was Khabib's brother. As they were on the fence, they were both kind of up on the fence, and Conor threw a punch. So I just want to talk about something here because, Khabib, I personally believe that Khabib should have been stripped of the title, and I'll explain why here. Don't get too mad at me yet. I'm going to explain why. Now, full disclosure, I am a big fan of Conor McGregor, but that honestly does not have anything to do with what I'm about to say. I'm talking about this as a UFC fan and also just a regular person, because, I mean, you don't even have to be necessarily a fan to know this. I mean, so the reason why I think Khabib should have been stripped of the title is because he's the champion right now. He is the featherweight champion. I forgot what weight class it is, but he's the champion right now. He holds the belt, and just like in the WWE or any of these other sports that have belts in it, you are held at a higher standard than the other people in the company. So when you have that belt around your waist, you are held at that higher standard. All eyes are on you. You represent the company. I know everyone else does, and Conor McGregor is kind of the poster boy, but there's a big difference. Let's separate the two. Conor's not the champion right now, regardless if he was, had the two belts at the weigh-ins, or not the weigh-ins, but the press conference. It does not matter. He is not the actual champion right now. The C is not next to his name. Khabib is the champion. So you can't be doing that sort of stuff, man. You are the champion. All eyes are on you. You are held to a much higher standard than everyone else. So that's why I think he should be stripped. But not only that, let's really look at the situation here. So the guy that Khabib went after is Dylan Dennis, right? He is a close friend and a training partner. He is Conor's jiu-jitsu training partner. He's a big deal in the jiu-jitsu community. He's a black belt. He was trained under a legendary guy. He's arguably, some people say that he's one of the best jiu-jitsu and grappling fighters. And let's be very clear here. He is not in the UFC. Okay, he's in Bellator. All right, so he was in the corner for Conor. So again, I just want to be super clear here. In retrospect to that, he was not only an innocent bystander, but also he was a civilian there. I don't care if he was in his corner. I don't care if he was talking crap or yelling at Khabib. It does not matter. He is not a fighter in the UFC. I understand he is a fighter, but he is not a UFC fighter. So therefore, he was a civilian there. So what you're telling me now is, when you look at it like that, Khabib attacked a non-fighter, somebody in the crowd, because he was not fighting. He is not a UFC fighter. So Khabib attacked somebody, threw punches, and hit somebody in the crowd, in the UFC crowd. So when you look at it like that, he should absolutely be stripped of the title. So, and everyone's saying, well, Dennis is also a fighter. He was talking crap. He was yelling at him. I don't care, bro. He is not a UFC fighter. You can't do that. He attacked an innocent guy in the crowd. And you're telling me that's okay for a UFC champion? No, that's ridiculous, bro. So the UFC is still, not the UFC, but the Athletic Commission is still withholding his purse. He has still not been paid. Conor has been paid. At first, just for those of you who don't know, they withheld both of the fighters' purses, which is like their guaranteed pay for the fight, after the fight happened. But then they quickly reviewed the footage there, and they let Conor's purse go. They paid him, and then they're still withholding Khabib's. And also another story that just came out today. Khabib threatened. He posted on Instagram. He actually threatened to break his contract with the UFC. He literally said that. I will break my contract. I will rip it. I will break it. I think that's exactly what he said. I will rip it. Something along those lines. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate you watching live. I have a few people watching live. And this will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel for those of you watching after. So, Khabib is threatening to break his UFC contract because the UFC is saying that they may they may kick his brother out. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I'm going to butcher it. But Khabib's brother is also a UFC fighter under contract with the UFC. And he's the one that actually hit Conor. I believe he was the one that actually hit him in the back of the head. I know that he did hit Conor. I don't know if it was the guy that was on the fence with Conor or the guy who hit him in the back of the head. So I believe he was the guy that hit him in the back of the head that Conor did not hit first. So he went in the cage and he actually attacked Conor in the back of the head after he fought. So he should absolutely be kicked out of the UFC for that. I don't care about anything else. I don't care if Conor mocked his religion. I don't care. You don't do that. You know what I mean? You attacked Conor, hit him in the back of the head. And let's be clear. Let's also be clear. Conor should be fined. Conor should be fined. And he's already been suspended for 10 days, which is kind of a joke. I mean, they're not going to fight in 10 days, so why does it really matter? I don't know. But anyway, he should be fined. Conor should absolutely be fined. I'm a big Conor fan, like I said, but he should be fined for throwing that punch on the guy when they were both on the fence. He should absolutely be fined for that. Should he be suspended? Absolutely. I do agree with the suspension. But at the end of the day, man, you can't compare the two. It's apples to oranges, man. One is the UFC champion, so you hold him way up here. One is a UFC fighter, which is Conor. You hold him down here, as opposed, in regards to, you know, how you hold them up and how you view them. So when you're a champion, you don't do that sort of stuff, man. You hop the cage and you jump. I mean, it was insane. You jump and try to kick a guy in the crowd. Again, I just want to say this again. Dylan Dennis is not a UFC fighter, so therefore he's simply a guy in the crowd. I don't care if he's a corner man. He is a guy in the crowd. You know what I mean? So I just think that I think it's a little bit ridiculous that, and also let's bring up the bus attack real quick. That's something that Khabib mentioned in his little his post earlier. He said, so you're gonna, and he mentioned in his press conference, so he's gonna throw a dolly at a bus and you want to attack me, blah 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 blah. So again, let's just remember, Conor didn't get away with that scot-free. Yes, he was not suspended by the UFC, which, I mean, I do think he should have been. I do. Partially suspended. But he paid a shitload of money, man. He paid a ton of fines. He also is getting sued by 2 of the fighters that were on the bus, so he's going to pay even more. You know, he had anger management classes. He had to do... he did serve jail time. It may have been short, but he did serve jail time for that. He was in a cell. Also, he had to do community service. So, I mean, let's just be really clear. He did not get scot-free on that. You know, it's not like he just got a little slap on the wrist. He was fined a lot, man. A lot of money, man. You know, in court fees and bail he had to pay. You know, lawyers, also the fee, the fines. I mean, he paid a lot of money with that, man. So he didn't get away scot-free there. So what you're telling me is that because Conor did that, it's okay for Khabib to attack a guy in the crowd? That's just kind of asinine. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, so I mean, we'll see what happens with Khabib breaking his contract. He actually may do that. I'm not sure. But his brother will probably be kicked out of the UFC. And I don't know if Khabib's actually going to void his contract, but we'll see. That's my take on it. I appreciate everybody watching live who checked in. Be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Check out realnse.com. Thank you very much. God bless. Peace.
We all know that fake news is everywhere. You just want to know what's really going on and without spin or bias. Now there's a place you can go. You can fight the false narratives and get your news from realnse.com.